So I want to talk to you about when the problem is not the problem, which is most of the time. Most of the time, something comes up between you and somebody else. And this can be true in your personal life as well. But we're going to talk about your life as a spiritual leader today. So what that sentence basically means is there are times that you are at odds with someone, and the reason you're at odds with someone has very little to do with what the circumstances are in the moment. That at that moment, we're feeling at odds with someone and clearly disagreeing with them, but there is an underlying problem that is not the problem that's appearing on the surface. And that problem can be that we have history with the other person, that we have history related to that issue, that we are feeling exhausted, that the people that are in conflict with us really don't understand what it is we do for a living, which happens often. They really don't understand the amount of stress or the kind of problems that we're handling. If you know that the problem is not a problem when you're having an argument with someone that you actually like and you just can't get over it, you can't get past whatever the issue is. The issue feels much bigger than it needs to be, and you know that it feels bigger than it needs to be, but you can't get that feeling inside to let go. So when this happens, it can be really hard. It can feel really big, and it can feel compromising. It can feel as though you're not living into who you expect yourself to be. So that kind of conflict is inevitable in our work. We have community, we have difference of opinion. No matter how good you are at conversation, at facilitating conversation, at some point, this conflict is going to directly affect you. It will be personal. It will be somebody who doesn't like the way you give a lesson, or doesn't like a decision you made, or feels like you handled someone else, you treated someone else differently than you should. One of the things that people don't understand is that we as ministers carry stress. We carry stress that is not just the stress of our daily life, of making sure that the budget's balanced and that there's enough money to pay the bills and the staff has what they need and your Sunday sermon is primo. It's more than that. It's that we're interacting with people who are bringing to us their everyday concerns. And their everyday concerns can be a recent terminal diagnosis, or the loss of someone they love, or an incident that arose for a child, or the loss of a job, or just that kind of spiritual emergence moment that goes from spiritual emergence to spiritual emergency, where they're suddenly feeling something spiritually that is beyond what they felt before, and it's stressing their life out. They feel out of touch with the world for a few moments there and need some guidance. All of these things are happening with different people who are in your community, and you are being involved voluntarily or involuntarily in what's going on with them. So let's just say you have 150 people, and let's say 10 of them are going through something in life that is big and scary and requires your attention. That's 10 times what normal people carry. Normal people, we forget this. We forget that normal people out there in the other part of the world that isn't church, are not dealing with everybody else's problems. They're only dealing with their own, and maybe the problems within their family. As a minister, you carry an inevitable amount of extra stress that is part of the job. And most of the time, we just know it's part of the job. It's part of the job to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and wonder about someone you care about. It's part of the job to try and keep up with what is happening for people in your community. But the reality is, that stress has an impact on you. It has an impact